Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, we got the big announcement. The thing that Bandai has been wanting us to wait for the last week with this big announcement about the Dragon Ball Super card game going forward. A lot of us were hoping there was going to be information about the online client, but nope, it was not. What we got instead was a brand new game, Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion World. And honestly, I'm not alone in this, but I'm very mixed about this whole thing. Because essentially, at first I was, as I was watching this trailer, I was like, holy crap, maybe this is a new expansion. They're gonna talk about the next block way earlier, because we're only about to go into the 4th set, if I'm not mistaken. And no, it's instead a completely brand new game, essentially a reboot of the Dragon Ball Super card game with more simplified mechanics and just they're rebooting it. That's what it is. This is a reboot of the game. Because Bandai has said I'm just sorry. I'm all over the place. I'm trying to articulate my thoughts in this, but this is still a lot to process. I feel very torn about this. A lot of people in the community feel very torn about this. On the one hand, we have a problem with this game, which is the entry to this game is incredibly difficult. We are about to be on set 22, and there's just so many cards, so many mechanics, keywords, skills, all these cards that people would need to research and buy in order to build these new decks. And that's intimidating to a lot of people. Even though I think Dragon Ball Super card game is one of the best, if not the best card game I have ever played. And I love a lot of the mechanics. Some are a little annoying. The fact that there's 2 activate or counterplay windows is just unnecessary. And that is a problem. It's hard for new players to join our game because of how overly complicated it has become. And we've lost a lot of players to simpler card games like Digimon and One Piece. One Piece has taken off. I can't find the right words today. One Piece has just exploded in popularity. It's a very fun card game. I love the card game, but there's a reason I play that on the side, and I play Dragon Ball Super as my main game, or at least that's what I tell myself. One Piece is a fun card game to play in the downtime between Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball is just such a competitive game at heart that it really pushes me to be my best. And this game, this new card game, Fusion World, hopes to solve that problem. Essentially, it takes away all the complications in the game. There are no more counters, no more counterplay, counter attack, counter, nothing. There are no unisons, there are no Z decks. Hell, even the awakening, the way that your leader awakens has changed. Your leader will automatically awaken once your life total has hit half or less than half. And it takes all the strategy out of it, in my opinion. This game is designed to be very quick, very fast-paced, just swing. Yeah, there's a couple blockers they've shown off, but for the most part, this game is meant to be played incredibly quickly. Looking at the tournament information, oops, sorry, hit the mic there. Looking at the tournament information, it says that rounds are only going to be 20 minutes long. That is the shortest amount of time I've ever seen in a card game. One Piece is like 35 to 45 minutes. 35 minutes. Dragon Ball was an hour and now dropped down to 45 minutes. This game is half the length of a Dragon Ball card, or the normal Dragon Ball card game. They don't want you to play, 4D chess anymore. They want you to just swing into your opponent. That's it. And once again, I'm torn. This game feels like Dragon Ball. It's a One Piece for Dragon Ball fans, and I can see why they copied One Piece, because One Piece has become incredibly popular. There's 1,000-person events. All regionals are sold out. It's something that Dragon Ball just hasn't been able to do for a while. And instead of trying to fix their game, they've decided, you know what, we're just going to reboot it instead. Now, they have confirmed that the game will continue on. There will now be Dragon Ball Super Card Game Masters, which is the traditional game that we've all been playing, and then there will be Fusion World, which is the brand new version, which, first of all, Fusion World is such a stupid name for this. It would make more sense if the cards were interchangeable between the two formats, but they're not. They've already said that it's a separate game, but I have also heard some people saying that no, it will be compatible with each other, but that makes no sense because a lot of the power levels have been raised for Fusion World. Leaders start at 15k power, then it awakened to 20k power, which is insane. The idea for this game is to bring in more players. They want to do more with the Dragon Ball IP, which is one of the most popular IPs in the world. They want to tap into the Japanese market, which the Dragon Ball Super Card Game doesn't have a presence there. And what better way to do this than to create a brand new format, a simplified version of the game, so any brand new people can come into this, fresh players, and then throw on an online client that you can play the game online with people as well as physical. And yes, they did completely rework the online client to only work with the Dragon Ball Fusion World format. It will no longer be working with the Masters format, which is very disheartening. It's something that I feel like Bandai has lied to us. There's no other way to defend it. They lied. They said it was coming. We had the beta a couple months ago. They hyped it up saying that Dragon Ball is still our priority for us, and here's proof that it's a priority. I remember being so hyped in that crowd when I got to see that trailer play. And now I just feel all my hype has been drained. Because now it feels like all my cards, all these decks that I have, I've got God Trunks here. I've got Android 16 built, for fun. And eventually these cards are not going to... I know it's a card game. Eventually things will all become useless and not playable anymore. But it was something that, instead of something that's going to raise or make this current game more accessible to people, they're just saying, screw it. We're just going to make the Masters version, which is the more complicated version of the game. And then there's the Fusion World. And they're going to move forward with both games. But here's where I and a lot of people think that this is a very smart way to kill off the traditional Dragon Ball Super Card game to focus more so on the Fusion World game. Because, think of it like this. Their logic is that if people play the Fusion World game on the client or in person buying the physical cards, because they are making physical cards for this, they will eventually get to a point where they're like, you know what, I want to test myself, I want to prove myself, and I want to play, the Masters version, which is the more complicated. On paper, that's amazing. On paper, that's a great idea. But in practice, once people start, a lot of people have left the Dragon Ball Super Card game because it was too complicated. So when they get this new version, which is simpler, they're not going to have a reason to go back to the old version, because this is the version they wanted, something that's less complicated. So it's going to do is see the numbers for Fusion World go up, and the Dragon Ball Super Masters at best will stay stagnant. At worst, it's going to go down. I think eventually people will start migrating over to Fusion World because, one, you have an online client that works with the game. The fact that they're also including promo cards, like this for Pokemon code cards. That's the word I'm looking for, where you get a code on each pack, you put it into the Pokemon Live TCG game app, and then you get a new card that you get to open a digital pack. That's a brilliant idea. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a great idea. And I've had a lot of fun playing on the Pokemon TCG Live app lately. So, for them to do that with this game, instead of just doing that with the original game, which is what I thought was going to happen, where they were going to start implementing code cards in traditional Dragon Ball Super packs to incentivize packs to be purchased. Because if you have code cards that work with the online game, it's going to help sell more physical product too. Because you can play it either in person with friends or at tournaments, or online against other people, or online tournaments. It makes sense. So, when you have Fusion World being the more accessible version, the one that gives you more value for your packs, especially if they take this opportunity, since they're copying One Piece, if they start implementing the pull rates, where you get 2 rares per pack, 7 SRs, 2 alt arts, and then a secret rare per box, this could really impact the sales of the master set, where I will agree that pull rates in the master sets are not great. Having a secret rare every 6 boxes on average, 5 SRs, 2 alternate arts, something along those lines. It's the writing's on the wall. Eventually, and another thing with card shops too, they're not going to want to stock 2 different games, 2 different Dragon Ball games, especially shops with very small Dragon Ball locals, where my locals, for example, unfortunately, the most people we have is about 8 people that play our game. And that's when we get everybody from around the area to come in and play. Our store already has a hard time justifying buying Dragon Ball Super product. But now that this new game's coming out, they're probably going to be like, hey, we can do one or the other. We can't do both. And that's just my perspective, you know, my thoughts on that. You know what I think, well, my predictions. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the words to say here. My predictions of what would happen. Eventually, stores will want to stock the product that sells more, that has more incentive to buy. And right now, that looks to be Fusion World. So, I don't know. I think this is kind of disheartening for a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people that are playing this game, and they all are kind of in feeling doom and gloom right now. And a lot of people are just like, what's the point of even buying new sets at this point, since the game's just going to eventually be canceled? I don't know. My excitement for the next set has dropped tremendously. My excitement for this game has dropped, because now it's just, me personally, this looks like it's the writing on the wall. Dragon Ball Super card game will come to an end eventually. It's probably sooner or later. They have confirmed that they are doing events for the 2024 year, but like the year they plan on doing events, regionals for 2024. Anything 2025 and beyond, though, they have no idea. I think they're going to look at how well Fusion World does as a product. If it's continuing to sell, bringing more bringing more players in to play this game, the online clients popping, they'll probably slowly start reducing the amount of cards released in Masters, and eventually they'll just be like, well, not enough people are buying the product, not enough people are going to tournaments, which already tournament turnout is very low. Some of the lowest we've had in a long time. It's just, they saw the writing on the wall with Dragon Ball Super card game becoming less and less popular, unfortunately, and they're trying to justify it with a brand new game. So, this is, like I said, this is more of a ranting video, just kind of talking about what I'm thinking, and just trying to put my thoughts to YouTube, and feel very mixed. You know? Like, sorry, my screen went black there, because I've been talking for so long. I'm excited for this new game, but also disheartened that this other game is gone, or is on its way out. I know people are trying to say, no, both games are gonna run fine side by side, but slowly, eventually, one game will be cannibalized by the other. So, I don't know. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Let me know your thoughts about this whole thing about the Fusion world in the comments down below. Please help a brother out. Hit that like button so this gets more traction. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care, guys. Damn.